$33.5 million on a budget I've seen as high as 180 million. Well, I've certainly seen worse openings. And hello, everyone. I've been wanting to talk about this since it debuted about a month ago and has become something of a viral sensation as well. And seeing as Halloween is drawing ever closer, that time is upon me, especially much like the creator's previous work. It works fantastic as a way to celebrate the season and as an unconventional horror story. Right? So let's talk about the a pilot of Dana Terrace's Knights of Guinevere here and why I am definitely one of those considered to be a worthy heir to the Ale House's throne, so let's begin. Right off the bat, it's inherently clear here that this pilot is not going to be a lighthearted take on the subject matter. I mean, with Guinevere being the mascot of a multimedia empire here, which encompasses everything from various movies, merchandise, to, of course, being the mascot of theme parks that can spread entire planets. It's, however, her being the creation of a one oval park as something of a gift for his daughter Olivia. I mean, they don't reveal a whole lot, but it's highly clear that something happened in her past, most likely involving her mother, that's caused her to act so cold, even tinkering with her Guinevere android, which, even though she is an android, does nothing to solve the impact, where basically pulling her along by what's the equivalent of her intestines before Gwen jumps from the balcony of the park's castle. Oh, oh, those also in a way that Park also swears when before he calls security is a pretty extreme method. Those are indicator haters of what we're going to be in for. And also the just doing frame by frame in the intro shows a lot of on the opening montage shows a lot of grim details about how if people could colonize entire planets to build amusement parks, they certainly would, to be certain. And and as for who they're critiquing, there's a lot of layers and interpretation of that, and there are a couple I can apply here in good faith. Hey, they definitely do stress that they are good at hiring creative people, not just Dana herself, but also two of her major co-writers in the Owl House, Zach Marcus and John Bailey Owen, who also worked on this pilot. But management on the business end is not really the best at doing so. And even more so, there's a line after the time skip that shows how there's so much infighting going on that they don't see the hand at the wheel. You know, that given the time this debuted, I'd say that's actually a quite timely message. It's and also really like how they touch on all manner of subjects, like how if when certain more graphic incidents at some of the parks mean what to hint at, and they don't just touch on the whole trend of doing live action reversion of the anime classics, but also discourse around them for everyone who's just against the idea on principle. There's others that typically don't pull the trigger until actually out. I mean, we'll talk another time soon. It's not getting ahead of myself. Naturally, he the characters were mainly focusing on being Andrea and Francesca, or Andy and Frankie for short, as children, rather than pay the exorbitant price of admission and for the goodies. They sneak in and and actually end up hacking the cream machine and attempt to just take the Guinevere blush. Though they're unsuccessful, they do end up meeting an android with a wobbly middle finger. Her and imprints on her ends up being important because it turns out Olivia, who's still in charge of the place, is become elderly and bedridden, and she looks like an even older version of Kyoko from Akira, uh, being hooked up to all sorts of tubes and wires. Here's the nursemaids, still look like park mascots. And of course, because of the recall feature, she wants the android back. Heck, I mean, it's entirely clear here whatever happened to her mother as a child definitely impacted her ability to handle her own ones, and yeah. And of course, it's clear that the influence has brought the worst in everyone, everything, no matter whether just like a laborer or her collecting trash from the water just to get by, or someone who's running the place, even as they're terminally ill. I mean, well, since again, and yet another Lockyer parallel, some of the whimsical whole woodland creatures who show up as toys, these end up encouraging a half asleep Andy to who take back the android and fix her properly. He and as for Frankie getting fired here without explanation, I had to say, as an educated guess, they just want to save a few numbers off their balance sheet just so they could buy another rocket ride. Usual nonsense, I would say. And even though someone who's not seen Glitch's other pilots they put out, which on to get on their own series, those being Murder Drones and Digital Circus, understand their appeal, and I sincerely hope that this also gets picked up for series. I mean, no matter where it ends up being, and because even in this half hour, the attention to detail and Dina's penchant for world building is still very much in play. How making it seem like a developed place is rather than just your average corrupted version of an amusement park is definitely a sound concept. I mean, and even Guinevere herself, basically, because she was like the lady that King Arthur married and became queen in the myth, and also naturally, and Arthur Mecca is tasked with bringing her back once he hears enough, and even the coat they wrap around on the android, who, even though internally it's long as gains sentience, outside is falling apart, the synthetic skin, the hair is all messed up and missing a foot when and Frankie pulls her from the water. Her and the coat, it kind of reminds a little bit of the one that Martinez wears in Edge Runners, where her it's more like a silver coat with yellow stripes rather than like the usual yellow coat with silver stripes. I mean, and I also kind of like the whole idea that had Gwen also being on stage. Like, if you actually do the freeze frame where a lot of the people online are skeptical about the principal being able to save herself, that ends up actually being key, and also another bit of a message where I know some people tend to get into just grow whenever they try and do that, but I'd argue they're tools to be as well used by Haley as with any story where, and it shows that you can't always rely on other people, especially hey in the private sector, to solve your problems for you. You gotta do it yourself, man. Oh, I mean, so of course, being let go from the company's not gonna let Frankie stop her. Her, her, they basically had to go into cover of darkness to start her fixing in her inside and out. And even the way that the bodies are built also has parallels to like the Ghost in the Shell verse. And how about that? Somebody said the anniversary, at least in the anime form this year. So and it also has been noted that the woodland and creatures hers kind of resemble whole slightly retool Pokemon as well. There's like a pink one, um, looks kind of like a Moona minus a smoke. Oh, we have like one that looks kind of like Piplup with different armor, and a yellow one looks kind of like Sprigatito with no less sass, I'll admit. And also, one another bit I'll mention is that the blue Hulong for mining all this energy source, like given how the Anders power that off, and it's not entirely clear who does have the disease apart from one person who spits on Frankie's boots and keels over and dies right there. Here, but given how, if you freeze by frame, it shows like there's like a child being born blue, who there, and a better question would be who doesn't have the disease on Park Planet or other stuff, Yeah. So my approach to critique may be different from others as regards the company. I'm not above of pointing out issues that could stand to be addressed. Especially when it comes to who ending he works before they can reach their full potential. Well, to say the least, we have. Which is also why I supported Dana's creative endeavors, and was always intrigued by what she was working on. And if this was a result, I very much like to see more if possible. One of my favorite ones I've seen in the last 10 years is actually like the Banksy exhibition Dismal Land, and specifically the in the center of it where the enchanted castle is in a state of disrepair, and the warped air like a dry reflection pool that look like they've seen better days. He's been, and it also offers has a lot to say. Hey, and I can't even get to it now, but just satirizing the very idea of the workspace in this day and age. Depending on what kind of sponsor we do get, I may do another about that, especially with other works that have taken on that kind of satirizing work. So, before I I go, I just want you to know that this kind of be similar to videos you might expect to see when Legends of UA arrives. So I'll be playing that a lot, I expect to be sinking plenty of hours into the main quest alone, so who I would definitely hope that I can get a lot of it done. So it'll be spooky, so it'll be funny, so it'll be a mix of the two, and I will definitely see you all again soon for one of the talk about another live action version that I alluded to when I've been in resisting him for a long time. I am that you might say a he is full of reptiles. That'll be all for now, so take care, everyone. Mm.